Hello friends, James Stevenson back with a video about the charts that I published when Tesla reported their Q3 earnings. So let's jump right to Loki's dog bed where he is snoozing and snoring, and then go to the desktop. You can keep an eye on the Loki cam if you want. But what I want to show you are the three tweets that I sent out on the night of Tesla earnings. This first one, I said the Tesla growth story continues for operating cash flows and free cash flows. And here's that chart. It looks better in Excel, so I'll switch over to Excel and show it to you here. I don't know why Twitter doesn't play friendly with Excel and show the chart looking just as good when I tweet it as it looks in Excel when I make it. But the name of the chart is Tesla operating cash flow, and then in parentheses I say capital spending and free cash flow combined over the 12 trailing months. So the legend only has two of those three things listed. It says free cash flow are the white blocks and capital spending are the light gray blocks here. Well, it's easy to see here in Q3 of 2022 how much this was. $7.1 billion worth of capital spending over the 12 trailing months, and $8.9 billion worth of free cash flow over the 12 trailing months. That's a record. It's never been that high, which you can see looking back over the past, 4.5 years here. Now, what happens when free cash flow is negative? How do you know what the operating cash flow was? Well, it's always the two combined, like it says in the chart. So in the case of this one, the capital spending back here was $2.5 billion, and the free cash flow was negative $1.2 billion. So when you add those two together, this positive number plus this negative number, you get only $1.3 billion worth of operating cash flow net. So knock this number down by $1.3 billion, and that's where the operating cash flow would have been, right? So luckily, since then, it's always been a positive number, even if it's a very tiny positive number here in Q4 and Q1. And the operating cash flow, the sum of these two blocks, or the net of the two blocks, just keeps growing over time to higher and higher amounts, surpassing $15 billion this quarter. Now, how did I know what this number was? Tesla reported it. You have to read all the way to the very end of the investor letter to find it. But there it is, $16,031 million worth of net cash provided by operating activities over the 12 trailing months on a GAAP basis is how this is named. With $7.1 billion of capital spending, that left $8.9 billion of free cash flow remaining after paying for all of Tesla's capital growth projects. So that's where the chart comes from, and that's the first thing that I tweeted about. The next thing I tweeted here was the Tesla growth story continues for revenue. There's still a whole quarter left, and it'll be an all-time record. So here's what this looks like. That was probably a mistake. Let me figure out how I have to size this down now to make it fit on the screen. So if I drag that up and then drag from this corner, now I gotta drag it the other way. Sorry, I thought that would be a good idea, and it wasn't the best idea. So yeah, check it out. I've kind of made this just the same size it was to begin with. I thought I could make it bigger. Okay, there it is. Tesla quarterly revenue. I'm not going to show you how I made this chart because it's just too simple. You just go into your Flourish template, you add another quarter, you say what the amount was, and it tacks it on. But Q4 is going to be the largest block ever on this chart. It'll be bigger than any of these three, which are the biggest that have ever been shown. Maybe Q2 was smaller than Q4. So over the past 4 quarters, we've got the 4 largest revenues Tesla has ever reported. And next quarter we'll beat them all. So this is going to be a big shift in the axis. The 2012 bar may disappear when the Q4 comes on. Some of these don't appear because the white line that surrounds each of these blocks would be larger than the amount of revenue that could be displayed. So it'll either be very, very tiny indeed, or it'll disappear like the years before it already have when we publish this one again. Okay, so away that goes, and up we move. Maybe I'll try and size this back to how I had it before so you can see it a little bit better. There. So on this afternoon's Tesla earnings call, Elon Musk said he believes Tesla can exceed the market capitalizations of Apple and Saudi Aramco combined without assuming any value from autonomous humanoid robots. So this chart is what that looks like, and it doesn't look great either. So let's go back to the Excel and see if we can find, yeah, here it is, this same chart. So how did I make this chart? Very, very easily. So on the same page where I had the amounts from the P&L, so I plugged these in from Tesla's investor earnings letter. On the same tab, I just plugged in market caps for Apple, Saudi Aramco, and Tesla. Here they are. Somebody mentioned that it would be a 6.9x for Tesla to surpass Saudi Aramco and Apple combined, where they are today, 4.4 trillion almost. And that's that math checks out. Yeah, if Tesla's 6.9x from here, that would be 4.8 trillion, surpassing today's valuation for those two. The two largest companies in the world combined is where Elon Musk has his sights set. And that's what that would look like if it comes to pass. Tesla would grow to be more than this bar and this bar stacked beside each other. So a lot of growth possible if you believe Elon is right about that. Don't bet against Elon Musk. Back in 2018, he bet that he could grow the value of Tesla from then about $50 billion to around $650 billion over the next 10 years. And he accomplished that goal in about 2 years. A little over 2 years, I think, is how long it was. So with that, I will outro and say if you've enjoyed today's video, click the like button. If you're not subscribed to my channel already, you can go ahead and subscribe to my channel. If you feel like supporting my efforts, there's links in the video description you can follow to support me on Patreon, which gives you early access to videos the day that I upload them, instead of having to wait for me to make those public one day at a time. And there's also some fun benefits if you join my YouTube channel that you can check out. And one of those is you can be an executive producer of my channel, as Kathy Kitchler is. So check those out if you're interested, and I will see you in the next one.